So right now, I guess would be the appropriate time to go ahead and announce what movie has been my favorite of 2012. Well, I kept you all waiting, so my favorite film of 2012 would have to be the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part. What the hell am I saying? I mean, seriously, that's something that should never be actually joked about. I mean, it's like joking about a dead person at a funeral. So, yeah, that's not my favorite film of the year. Yeah, big surprise, right? But, in all honesty, my favorite film of the year is, and it really should come as no surprise, The Dark Knight Rises. I mean, it's a Batman movie. Of course this is my favorite film of the year. I mean, I've gone on and on and on and on and on about how much of a big Batman fan I am. Don't let the shirt fool you. I mean, I've gone 2 months just making Batman videos, and are you still not convinced I'm a Batman fan? You can ask me any single question about Batman, and I bet I'll know it. So, this film being my #1 favorite film of the year, my #1 favorite comic book film of the year, yeah, I said it. Well, not of the year, but my #1 comic book film entirely, should really come as no surprise. I mean, I thought this movie was amazing. I thought it was great. I thought it was epic. I thought it was a great cap to the trilogy. I loved it. I loved everything about it. But a lot of people seem to really hate it, which, in all honesty, kind of worries me because I'm afraid that this film will kind of go down in history as, like, the Spider-Man 3 of this new Batman trilogy, where a lot of people hate it, and it's only a small majority of people that actually do enjoy it. But I've actually seen the people that like it overlap the number of people that dislike the film. So I guess that's a good sign. But in all honesty, I only found a few minor problems in the film that I could still get over, but I found a few problems in the film that, actually do kind of bother me, but I can still get over it at the same time. I'm actually going to go over those right now. I think the biggest plot hole in the film that a lot of people like to point out whenever watching the film is, how the hell did Bruce Wayne get back to Gotham? And it's actually a question that I asked multiple times throughout the film when I first saw it in theaters and while watching it on DVD. It's a huge glaring problem. I mean, one minute he's in India, and I do believe it's India. I mean, they shot it in India, and, I just believe it's India. And then one minute he's back in Gotham, in America. So, it's just a big glaring issue. And the thing that pisses me off more about that one little plot hole is that it's not like a huge, giant, complex problem that would have taken too long to, fix. It's just a one simple, how did he get from this place to this place? How did he get from point A to point B? That could have been solved with, like, one passing mention. You didn't have to go and explain it. You could have just said, oh, I got here because of that. So, yeah, I'm awesome. I'm Batman. And that's another thing. People say that, well, he's Batman. He can go whatever. But that's kind of like the excuse you use for, like, when he disappears from the top of a building to just disappearing to the bottom of a building. I mean, you don't use that, oh, he got back to Gotham because he's Batman excuse in this way, because he went from one country to another. That's a big leap there. I mean, it doesn't really, make a whole lot of sense. But I can fix the problem right here. I mean, again, it could have just been solved with one passing mention. Why didn't you just say that he hopped on a cargo plane back to America and then stuck back into Gotham? I mean, they did say that the Batcave was sort of like a stopping point for the Underground Railroad. So there had to be a bunch of, like, little passageways throughout Gotham that led into the Batcave, and he could have, got ready, unshaved himself, or shaved himself, whatever, and then, went to meet Catwoman, and then there's that. I mean, they could have just did that. One passing mention would have made all the sense in the world, but no, leave it up to the audience to fill in the plot holes. I really didn't like that. It's just this one little, like, thing that you just could have gave a passing mention, but you didn't. I really don't like that much. Also, speaking of how he got back to Gotham, how did he get the little clean slate tool that basically wipes all criminal records from any criminal in the world? I mean, Daggett before in the film said that it was all just a giant hoax. And then here Bruce Wayne comes in and he has the thing and gives that to Catwoman in exchange to help him save Gotham from blowing up. I mean, again, you could have explained that, like, maybe that was made by Wayne Industries or something like that. Maybe Daggett was just waiting for that to be made from Wayne Industries, and then Wayne Industries would give that to Daggett. I mean, that would have been a good explanation. Well, actually, really not. More, thinking about it. But how did he get it? Was it really the clean slate? Was it just a cheap flash drive or whatever? Explain. Again, like, it's just a huge problem. I was saying explain. Like, throughout the whole scene when I was watching it in the theater and on the DVD. It just really didn't make much sense. Also, another big glaring issue I had was Bane's whole, like, big plan. Like, from what it looked like he was going to do was really awesome. Like, he wanted to just, like, get rid of all the rich people and let all the poor people who are there just striving, barely getting by, to, like, basically he wanted to give all the poor their city back and let them run through it and just, like, rip these, rich people into the streets and literally have them being executed on the spot and, like, have them be put in the court, governed by, Bane or whatever, and then have them executed. That was really interesting, and it really would have been relatable to the whole 1% thing, but then it's revealed that he's just going by, like, what Ra's al Ghul wanted to do. He just wanted to blow Gotham up, and it's really contrasting, because he either wanted to do, like, go the whole 99% to the full extreme, or he just wanted to basically do the whole villain plot from Batman Begins. I did like that, though. Don't get me wrong. I liked it a little bit to an extent because it brought it full circle, like everyone says. But I really would have liked if it was just like the whole Bane, like the whole 1%, 99%, 1% deal where, the rich are being taken out and being governed and, being executed on the spot. And the poor people are just, like, there to... They're given everything, and then they join Bane's army because they agree with everything that Bane is doing, and they love Bane, and it's kind of making Bane an anti-hero, which is really interesting. Then you have Batman come in, and it's like, well, wait, am I doing something good, or am I doing something bad? It would have been interesting, but just make it a cliche villain plot by having him want to blow up the city, and basically do the same villain plot from Batman Begins. Like, that's so interesting. It's not really. It's very disappointing, if you ask me. Hold on. I actually compiled a list of problems I had with the film. Why didn't no important characters die? I mean, that's, like, a huge issue, mostly because this is the last film in this new series, so why the hell didn't, like, any important Gotham characters die? I mean, there's, like, a whole laundry list of characters that you could have killed off. Like, what about Alfred? You could have killed off him. He's barely in the movie, so, that would have made no difference, really. What about Lucius Fox? What about Gordon? In fact, if you killed off Gordon, that would have made, like, more sense, because you would have had that one, the cop Foley. He could have been the commissioner, and it would have made, like, a whole lot more sense. And it would have just been good. And that begs the question, how did Gordon survive, falling? Like, he was in the same truck as Talia at the end. So how did he survive falling, being in the truck and falling into, I don't know, where the truck, like, fell. Talia died, but he didn't. And he had this giant friggin', like, giant bomb in the back, so, like, how the hell did that crush the shit out of them? Begs a real big question. Like, why didn't he die? That would have made, like, a lot of sense, and it would have been cool, and it would have been nice that they actually killed off a really important character, and it's not like they were going to make more movies afterwards, because Christopher Nolan is going on and on and on about this. This is the last Batman movie, so it only would make sense to kill off a few characters, and not a couple of villains, like, really. Like, not just, like, villains, but actual important characters. Like, please. I wish they really just killed off some characters. Also, why wasn't Robin called Robin? I said it wrong, I'm sorry. Why was, Robin called Robin, or John Blake called Robin? Don't get me wrong, I appreciate that they did at least have intentions of, like, doing the whole Robin thing, and they basically, did. But I really didn't like that they called him Robin. I understand the whole point of it being like, oh, well, if they called him, like, like Dick Grayson or Tim Drake or Jason Todd, then the audience wouldn't, like, understand. But I really wish that Nolan gave the audience more credit than he's giving them, because he made a movie about dreaming within a dream, and people came out of it saying, oh, I got it, that made sense. But you're not going to name one character another name because they won't get the joke. Like, really? That's something I never got. Like, I understand that most audiences won't understand it, but give the audience, like, a little bit more credit than they deserve. They could do a little research. I understand, it sounds, like, really greedy of me, like, really, well, kind of greedy, like, really, yeah, kind of greedy for me saying, like, oh, just give me what I want, but I really wish that he gave more credit than he deserved. Like, at least the last name, Grayson. I really would have liked to see that. But I did like that they did, like, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, John Blake, he was sort of like a compilation of, like, all the Robins. I did really like that a lot. That was just something, a nice little added touch I did like. You know, there's like, or like he was like Tim Drake, like an orphan, and, you know, so forth. I just like that a lot. What's next? Sorry about that, give me a minute. Another thing, why didn't, they just blow up the bomb earlier? I mean, like, the bomb was, like, set on a timer for, like, 5 or 6 months. But they had the trigger man. Like, Talia was the trigger man. Why didn't she just, like, blow the damn thing up? It was gonna blow up eventually. Why didn't they just, like, blow it up then? I like, feel like that would make more sense, right? Like, if you have a bomb that's going for 5 minutes, and then you have the trigger, why don't you just blow it up instead? Like, if it's an automatic bomb that's not on a timer, but is also on a timer, just blow it up. Like, really, it makes more sense just to blow it up then, because you're giving the hero or the protagonist ample time to just, like, mess with your whole plan. It really makes sense, but no, they'll blow it up, they'll press the trigger, like, 5 minutes before it's actually supposed, before 5 minutes left on the timer. That's the best logic right there. That logic, man, that logic. That's really about it. Now, a lot of people, complained about, like, various other, problems. Like, why didn't the ice break when, like, the fire was set on? Or why didn't, like, Batman, like, that's just, like, a minor little nitpick. Like that, like, a problem like that, like, that's just a little nitpick I could really get, I can care less about. But people make arguments like, why did Batman spend so much time, like, like, painting, like, gasoline on a bridge of the bat symbol? It really doesn't make sense. But I guess I can kind of argue, well, how the hell does no one, like, know? Like, my thing of that is, well, he still used the bat signal, right? Like, a lot of people can say, like, well, why would he paint fiery bat symbol on a bridge to let them know that the enemy is there, to let them know that the enemy, to let the enemy know that he's back? It doesn't make much sense. Well, the whole bat symbol thing, when that sheds in the sky, everyone knows that the Batman's coming for them, so it really doesn't, so there's that kind of thing. So, like, a problem like that, I can just get rid of it because there's that argument to go with it. Also, why didn't Bruce Wayne, like, come back after, like, 8 years? Like, he can get over his parents' death, but, he won't come back after 8 years? Like, of being Batman because his girlfriend died or whatever? Or because, his friend died, Harvey Dent or something like that? Or, because of Batman or whatever? Like, well, they did in The Dark Knight Returns, a comic book, and that was, like, a whole thing where he had come back because of Jason Todd's death. The argument is that, like, he can get over his parents' death, but he can't get over his girlfriend's death. Well, he didn't get over his parents' death. He was a kid. He couldn't really, he wasn't Batman when he was a kid. Like, so he really couldn't do much. He never got over his parents' death. He basically just, like, grew up, he went out and got trained and became the Batman, basically. But because of that whole thing, because he was being chased down and Batman was because Batman looked like a bad guy, he couldn't go out. Like, people make that argument, well, he can, come back, his parents died, he can get over that, but, he can't come back after 8 years? It's stupid. Well, he was being hunted down, you idiots. Like, what happened in this movie when he came back? He got hunted down. Like, duh. One problem I had, another last little problem I had with it was that, why didn't Bane tell everyone who Batman was? Like, Bane knew who Batman was. Why didn't he just, especially if he thought that Bane, especially if Bane thought Batman or Bruce Wayne or whoever died in the pit, why didn't he just come out and say, oh, Bruce Wayne was Batman, bye? It's like, it's the same problem with, like, Batman Forever. Like, why didn't the Riddler tell everyone that Batman was Bruce Wayne? It really didn't make much sense, especially if it's the last movie of your trilogy. I really would have liked how people still, like Batman shows up and everyone knows who Batman is. I really would have liked that interaction. That would have been really nice. Like, everyone knew who Batman was. It would have given him a reason not to speak in his throat cancer voice. It was annoying, that voice. He talks like that to people that know he's Batman, like the Blade or the Catwoman. It's annoying. You don't have to be throat cancer-y Batman. You can just go and just talk to people regularly. It doesn't... Like, can he do a Batman voice, like, without the throat cancer voice? I just didn't like that. But really, those are just my personal problems with the film. I can still get over them. I can still really just, like, forget about them, whatever. I don't care. There are some problems that people have made that I just really don't, that can just be tossed aside and just, like, be explained in, like, one little answer or whatever. I'm running out of time. I really can't go over, like, 15 minutes or whatever, but Dark Knight Rises is my favorite film of the year. I love it. Everything about it's great. I love it. I think it's awesome, and you should definitely check it out, because it is really good. I'm fucking sweating. But I thought it was a great movie. You should definitely check it out. If you don't like it, then, whatever, please, let me know why in the comment section below. So it's over here. So yeah, just do that. And go see Dark Knight Rises. It's a great movie. Go buy it. It's only a few bucks, so, definitely check it out. Yes, I did think it was better than The Dark Knight. Not that Dark Knight is bad. I just thought this was a little bit better than that, in my personal opinion. And just because it has a few problems doesn't mean that it's immediately bad. Every single movie ever has some problems, and most of them are still really good movies. It doesn't matter. So please don't not go see the movie because a lot of people say, oh, it's bad. Definitely go see the movie based on your own opinion. Just go and see the movie because it's really, really good. Please check it out. Don't let, everyone deceive you. It is a really good movie. I also thought Tom Hardy was good.